Imagine waking up in a city where groceries arrive at your door with a tap on your phone, pharmacies never close, the sun tries to roast you alive at 6 a.m., and strangers follow you. Not to rob you, but because they're fascinated by you. That's the kind of reality some South African women living in Dubai have been sharing on social media lately. Their videos are raw, honest, sometimes funny, sometimes emotional, and they paint a fascinating picture of what life is actually like for South Africans trying to build a life in one of the most futuristic cities in the world. And what makes these stories interesting is that they're not the glamorous Dubai lifestyle videos you usually see online. These are normal people talking about everyday life, going to church, grocery shopping, dealing with extreme heat, navigating cultural differences, and sometimes dealing with anxiety when things get tense in the region. But before we break it down, let's listen to what these women had to say.
Life in Dubai. Hello, my name is Naledi Apane. I am just a girl in the big world. It's a beautiful Resurrection Sunday, a day that all Christians across the world, including myself, love so much, and we celebrate wholeheartedly because our Jesus is alive. Anyways, today the plan was actually to go to the 1 p.m. service. However, I realized late that if I left at the time that I was supposed to leave, I was actually going to be late. And I don't like being late for church. I'm one person that likes to start the service and end the service. So I don't like being late at all for church. So I decided, let me just go get some snacks and then maybe take a nap and then leave for church at around 5, just so I'm very early for church. So yeah. Actually, these are my favorite Doritos, but the packs are too big. So it's not like they're full slippery. Anyways, one thing I love about Dubai is how accessible everything is. Everything I need, I can just get it on an app. Everything, literally everything. If I need medication, I can just download an app, a pharmacy, and then order whatever it is I want. Most of the stores are open 24/7. Some pharmacies are open 24/7. Some supermarkets are open 24/7, which is, for me, has been a culture shock. I mean, I've been to India, where also, a couple of things are open till late. Ivory Coast as well. Some parts of the world, that's how they do things. But as a South African, sort of like, okay. But it's beautiful. So yeah, I had arrived at church here. And as you can see, I was early, and the message, as always, was banging. It was an incredible Sunday spent at church. I am so glad to have found this church. Bible-based, spirit-led. It ticks all the boxes of a church. So I'm quite happy. I've got an amazing community, so amazing. The friends that I've made already at church, they are also just absolutely amazing. It's everything I needed. I feel like the people I've met have been so important, So I'm all alone in this big city, but the people that I've met never make me feel like I'm alone. So that's also another thing that I love. And I must say that my relationship with God also grew so much. And I love it. I love it for me. I love it so much. So here I was tired, so it was home time. Another thing I love is how they prioritize women and children. So guys, till next time.
Welcome to Dubai. Being coloured in Dubai, especially a colour that's not from Cape Town. I do not have the Cape Town accent because most colours here are from Cape Town. So when guys approach me, they ask me, where you from? And I'm like, take a guess. They look at me, they're like, hey, I don't know where you're from. I'm like, what do you mean? Can't you hear my accent? No, I don't know where you're from. They don't know where I'm from. I'm like, huh? Anyway, yeah. Surprised when I say I'm from South Africa. They're like, oh, wow, I wanted to say South Africa, but your accent. Okay.
Okay guys, moment of truth. My people are here. I am so excited. I'm so happy. I think this is the happiest day with everything that's been going on. She's so beautiful. She's here. She's safe. So I'm passing the phone. Please say hi to my fellow South African.
Hi guys. Thank you to TikTok. Thank you to the TikTok community. I finally made it to her, and I'm here. We're safe. It's so good to be with someone from home. Yeah. So yeah, thank you to everyone. We're going to be here safe in a shelter, at least since we checked out from our hotel, and hoping to be taking off and flying out in the morning.
Throw any more at us.
Please. Crossing fingers.
Molweni. Hi guys. So just an update. Firstly, I would like to give thanks to the UAE government. I kid you not, if we were anywhere else, if I was anywhere else as a South African, I don't think I would be sitting comfortably right now, having hope that things would be okay. And I say this because even though missiles were being shot, debris were flying everywhere, through every situation we had been communicated. There were alarms that went off. We were notified in such situations, and as per my previous video, that had transpired in the morning, and as the day went on, for people, life was normal. People were swimming, people were riding bicycles. Also, different people are taking the situation differently. It's not the same for everyone. Like I mentioned, I live alone. I am alone in this time, so when alarms are blowing off my phone and I'm told to take cover, obviously I will have that shock, you know. But again, glory to God. What a wonderful government system. What a wonderful leadership here in the UAE. And we can all learn a lot. We can really learn a lot. So again, to my South Africans, guys, if you need anything, please, if you need me just to call you, if you just need someone to speak to, it is taxing on us. I'm not even coping. It's only the grace of God. I've had 2 anxiety attacks. I've never had an anxiety attack in like 3-4 years. So it's just important that we stick together. Ubuntu is very important. So you guys can follow me for more updates. I am not and don't want to give false information. I'm telling you guys what's going on in real time in my experiences. God bless. God bless South Africa. God bless the UAE. God bless us that are here. Please pray for us.
So when it comes to your living situation in Dubai, I am not your luxury kind of girl. I don't have that kind of money, okay? I'm also not into like your hostel kind of situation. I'm more right in the middle, and I get constant DMs of what that looks like. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of what that looks like, okay? Let's have a look. Come in. And that is home. I do know how to pick them out, don't I? If you do have any questions, just leave them in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer. And if you are thinking of moving to Dubai, which interestingly enough makes up a lot of you guys here, do reach out for anything that I can help. I will help, and I'd love to put something together for us. But until then, I'm going to see you tomorrow for a little bit of a huge, huge surprise.
if you're a South African working in Dubai, what are your tax obligations in South Africa? I love a good SA expat tax challenge. Let's have a look at Marco's situation. A South African that left to Dubai in 2021 on a 5-year work contract. His wife and kids remained in South Africa, living in their primary residence. He retained all of his South African assets, his retirement annuity, share portfolio, and his tax-free savings account. And he intends to return to South Africa once his 5-year contract ends. So the first test that we look at is the ordinary residence test. Since he intends to return to South Africa, he doesn't break ordinary residence. Then we look at the double tax agreement between the UAE and South Africa. Because his wife and children remain in South Africa in their primary residence, permanent home and center of vital interest is seen as to be in South Africa, and therefore he doesn't break tax residency. So what is the implication for him? Since he remains an SA tax resident, he could qualify for a 1.25 million rand foreign income exemption if he spends 183 days outside South Africa over a 12-month period, and if 60 of those days are consecutive. But his income above 1.25 million rand will be taxable in South Africa, which could result in quite a big additional tax burden because he doesn't pay any tax in the UAE. This obviously depends on his salary, but he probably would have been much better off ceasing tax residency in South Africa, moving his wife and kids along with him to Dubai, so that his permanent home and center of vital interest also moves to Dubai and he can break tax residency in South Africa. It actually would be really interesting to consider what the trade-off would be between saving on the tax that would be payable in South Africa if he remains a tax resident versus the extra living costs he would have to incur if his wife and kids also move along to Dubai. Let me know what you think and if we need some more detailed analysis on this.
Let me tell you about the things that shocked me culturally when I used to live in Abu Dhabi. Wow. This filter. The first thing, in Abu Dhabi, I noticed Uguti, you just get followed, you get followed. There are men that will just follow you. Ne? And Maubega Uguti, who are these men? It's mostly Abu my friend, Baningi, in the UAE, they are drivers, they work as builders. Baningo, my friend, they're coming from anywhere, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, everything's done, India, all of those places. And my friend, when they follow you, they're not there to harm you. They're not gonna harm you. They just follow you, and they are just fascinated. And what was also fascinating was that they are following you, and you turn around and you look. They also stop and they stare. They just stop and they stare at you, but no harm, nothing. Maulandelwa like by anybody. If there's somebody ukulandela, ukuthi ziyawa. Like ziyakhala, ukuthi ziyakhala if somebody follows you. But in the UAE, men will just follow you, just ukuthi they are just fascinated ukuthi ubani, but they won't do anything. The second thing was the fact that you order a grocer, you can call a store and then they will deliver the grocery to you. You just call daily, whatever those local shops, you order whatever you need, and there's a bellboy or somebody, a butler or whatever they call it, that will bring the groceries to you. The last thing that was a culture shock to me, in fact it's not the last thing, was the fact that the Arabs are a priority there. They are such a priority that whether you go to a bank and there's a queue, if an Arab comes, they will go straight in front of you. They are such a priority that if, for example, something were to happen, you are in a car accident and there is an Arab involved, chances are you are the one who's going to be paying for that accident. The last thing was the abayas, the things that they wear is nyama. Not everybody who's wearing that abaya is an Arab. Some of them are prostitutes.
So Taba says, I am a teacher here in the UAE. That's true. SA teachers get really good pays. It's such an individual experience for everyone. I know there's been a lot of teachers who are like, oh my God, it sucks being a teacher in Dubai. But I feel like it probably has a lot to do with the school that you're at and also your background. Like, for example, if you've been a teacher for a long time in like maybe a really bad school or where the kids aren't as forgiving, and you move to a place like Dubai and life is a little bit easier for you, then obviously it's going to be a good experience for you. And especially if the pay adds up to the amount of work that you're putting in and you're able to take care of your family financially, then that counts a lot for it too. So yeah, to the guys that were giving like very negative comments about being teachers in Dubai, there's some people who really enjoy it. So I don't think you guys need to be discouraging other people from coming, especially if they might have a different experience, kind of like Taba has. So yeah.
Life in Dubai. Hello, my name is Naledi Apane and I am just the girl in the big world. Spend the morning with me. It's a Friday. Now, one thing I hate about Dubai, I love everything about Dubai. The only thing I have problems with is the sun. Because how am I waking up at 6 a.m. and it's already 37 degrees hot? What do you mean? Like, make it make sense. Anyways, I had to catch a tram and go to the metro station, get a metro, and then get to my destination. Now, what I love to do is give myself at least 30 minutes to an hour, to get to my destination so that I can find the bathroom and just freshen up because the heat is that insane. Another frequently asked question is, do I stay alone in Dubai? Guys, so it's been quite interesting navigating life in Dubai. I think it's a challenge I never knew I could take on and do so well. Most importantly, I think the people that have kept me sane, just so far away from my family, is my little community that I've built here. The friends that I've made here, they've made it so bearable. They've made it so amazing. Proof that I was melting. Here it is, guys. I melt every day. The other day I went to Dera and it was so freaking hot. Anyways, yeah. I don't know what my life would have been like if I was, because I'm a very laid back person, very reserved. It's not easy for me to make friends. So I just wonder what my life would have been like just living alone. Well, I mean, I'm always alone, but like without friends, without people that I can always go to and talk to and go out with. I think I would have gone insane by now. I thought I was an introvert. I actually am an introvert, but like Dubai forces you to really be out there to make friends, and I've had the best friends. Anyways, here I was finally done with my meeting, waiting for the metro to go back home, and I was super tired. So when I got back home, took a nap, and then now I'm getting ready to go to a Friday youth service meetup. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.
Hi guys, let's go grocery shopping. This is the store not far from my place. It's literally a walk away. That is me showing you the fit of the day. Me walking inside. I just want to show you guys the difference in prices and the size of the stuff that I'm gonna get in terms of like fruits and vegetables. That is inside the store. It's quite quiet because I think it's because of Ramadan, I'm not sure, but look at those pears and those juicy plums from South Africa. Yay, of course I'm gonna grab those. Avocado is so expensive, guys. Just look at the price of avocado. If you want to convert, that is almost like what, 60 bucks a kilo. And that is all the fruits and veggies that they have. So I'm obsessed. Well, not obsessed, but like I like to eat healthy. I love cooking vegetables. I love snacking on fruit. So I buy a lot of fruit and vegetables. This is the herbs and leaves section. I wasn't sure what to get from here. I was actually looking for normal spinach, but I couldn't find it. So I ended up taking some spinach that I'm not even sure where it's from. I'm also showing you here the price of berries.
blueberries. Oh my goodness. And then it's like a variety of chicken. Like the brands here, sometimes I get so confused. I just never know which one to go for. So I just take anything. I found some South African beef. I was very chuffed about that. Best believe I'm going to be making beef stew tomorrow night. Dabona no tata ke san akaduru poof organic honey bush and rooibos tea. I'm not doing that. Pure peppermint tea is so expensive and there was no other brand. I did not take this because it's daylight robbery. Come on. Also, detergents. I never know which brand to go for because all of this is new to me. So I just keep on trying different brands of detergents and just see what works, I decided to go for this brand. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, child. That is my trolley. That is everything that I got today. And I'm going to show you guys how much I paid for everything. How much it all cost me. Okay, move along now. There we are at the pay till. Getting ready to pay for everything, which is so stressful. But all in all, I ended up paying 725 dirham.
One of the women sharing her experience is Naledi Apane, who describes herself as just a girl in a big world. In one of her videos, she talks about spending Resurrection Now Sunday in Dubai. Her plan was simple: go to church, spend time with her community, and enjoy the day. But even something as simple as planning a church visit becomes a little different when you're living abroad. She explains that she prefers arriving early for church because she doesn't like being late. So, instead of rushing to the afternoon service and risking arriving late, she decides to wait and go to the evening service instead. In the meantime, she grabs some snacks and relaxes. It's such a small, everyday moment, but it highlights something important about living abroad. You have to build your own routines and create your own sense of normal. But then she points out one of the biggest advantages she's noticed about life in Dubai: convenience. According to her, almost everything you need is available through an app. Need medication? There's an app for that. Need groceries? There's an app for that too. Want food delivered late at night? No problem. Many stores, pharmacies, and supermarkets are open 24 hours. For someone coming from South Africa, where many shops close relatively early, that can feel like a massive culture shock. She even mentions that while she has seen late-night shops in places like India and Ivory Coast, the level of convenience in Dubai still surprised her. Imagine being able to order almost anything at any time of the day. It's one of those modern city luxuries that people quickly get used to. Another thing she talks about is the importance of community. Living alone in a massive international city can be lonely, but Naledi says she found a church community that made her feel at home. The friendships she built there helped her feel less alone in a place thousands of kilometers away from South Africa. And this is something many expats talk about: the importance of finding your people. Whether it's through church, work, or social groups, having a support network can make the difference between thriving abroad and feeling completely isolated. Another South African woman living in Dubai shared a different but equally interesting experience: what it's like being identified as colored in a country where most people don't understand South Africa's racial and cultural categories. She explains that many colored South Africans in Dubai come from Cape Town, and they often have a distinctive Cape Town accent. But because she doesn't have that accent, people struggle to guess where she's scalped from. When people approach her and ask where she's from, they try to guess her nationality, but they often get it wrong. When she eventually tells them she's South African, they're surprised because her accent doesn't match what they expect. It's a reminder of how identity can become complicated when you move across cultures. The things that clearly identify you at home might mean nothing in another country. Then there's another side of life in the UAE that one woman shared during a tense moment when missiles were reportedly being intercepted in the region. She described hearing alarms and being told to take cover, which was understandably frightening, especially because she was living alone at the time. She admitted that it triggered anxiety attacks for her, something she hadn't experienced in years. Being alone in a foreign country during a tense situation can be mentally exhausting. But at the same time, She also spoke positively about the emergency communication systems in the UAE. She said authorities kept residents informed, alarms were sent to phones, and instructions were clear. Despite the stress, she said she still felt relatively safe because of the systems in place. She also encouraged fellow South Africans in the area to stay connected and support each other, emphasizing the idea of Ubuntu, the belief in shared humanity and community support. And that message really highlights one of the emotional realities of living abroad. Sometimes the people who understand you best are the ones who come from the same place as you. Another moment she shared was incredibly heartwarming. After spending time feeling anxious and alone, she finally reunited with another South African woman. You could see the joy in her reaction. She said it was one of the happiest days she'd had in a while. It's funny how something as simple as seeing someone from home can instantly make a foreign country feel less foreign. Of course, not all the experiences are emotional. Some are just practical realities of daily life. One woman gave a tour of her apartment to show what middle-range living looks like in Dubai. Not the luxury penthouses you see on Instagram, but also not the hostel-style shared accommodation, just a normal place someone with a regular salary might live. She said she gets constant questions from people back home asking what housing in Dubai actually looks like, and her response was simple: it depends on your income and your lifestyle choices. Another interesting discussion came from a tax expert explaining something many South Africans working in Dubai don't realize. Just because you work in Dubai doesn't automatically mean you're free from South African tax obligations. The example given was a South African man who moved to Dubai for a 5-year work contract while his wife and children remained in South Africa. Because his family and permanent home stayed in South Africa, he would likely still be considered a South African tax resident. That means he could qualify for a foreign income exemption on the first portion of his income earned abroad, but anything above that threshold could still be taxed in South Africa. It's a complicated topic, but the takeaway is simple. Moving abroad doesn't automatically erase your tax responsibilities back home. Then there are the cultural surprises. One South African woman who previously lived in Abu Dhabi said she was shocked by how some men would follow her in public places. Not in a threatening way, but more out of curiosity. She explained that many workers in the region come from countries like India, Pakistan, and other parts of Asia. Some of them are simply fascinated when they see someone who looks different from what they're used to. She said they would sometimes follow her for a short distance, then stop and stare when she turned around. Strange, yes, but she emphasized that she never felt physically threatened. Another cultural shock she mentioned was how priority is sometimes given to Emirati citizens. In certain situations, locals may receive preferential treatment, something that foreign workers need to understand as part of living in the country. Then there are the smaller everyday shocks. For example, the heat. Naledi joked about waking up at 6 in the morning and it already being 37 degrees. Imagine starting your day feeling like you've stepped into an oven. That kind of climate can take serious adjustment for someone coming from South Africa. She also talked about navigating public transport, trams, metros, and buses, and making sure she arrives early enough to freshen up before meetings because the heat can leave you completely drained. Even grocery shopping can be an adventure. In one video, she walks through a nearby store comparing prices and exploring unfamiliar brands. She notices that some fruits and vegetables are imported, including produce from South Africa. Seeing South African pears or beef in a Dubai supermarket brings a little sense of home. But she also notices how expensive some items can be. Avocados, berries, and even tea can cost far more than what you'd expect back home. By the time she finishes shopping, her total bill comes to over 700 dirhams, which shows how quickly groceries can add up in a city like Dubai. Another South African woman working as a teacher in the UAE also shared a perspective that challenges some of the negative narratives online. She said many South African teachers actually earn good salaries there, and their experiences can vary depending on the school they work at. Some teachers love it, others struggle, but she believes people shouldn't discourage others from trying the opportunity, because every person's experience will be different. And that might be the biggest lesson from all these stories. Life abroad is never one size fits all. For some people, Dubai offers opportunity, safety, good salaries, and convenience. For others, it can feel lonely, expensive, or culturally confusing. But the stories from these South African women show something deeper than just the pros and cons of living overseas. They show resilience. They show people learning to adapt to new cultures, new climates, and new systems while still holding on to their South African identity, their faith, and their sense of community. And maybe that's the most interesting part of all, because behind the skyscrapers, luxury malls, and futuristic skyline of Dubai, there are thousands of everyday stories like these. People from different parts of the world figuring out how to build a life far away from home. And if there's one thing these South African women make clear, it's that life in Dubai can be exciting, challenging, surprising, and sometimes overwhelming all at the same time. But for many of them, it's also an opportunity to grow, explore the world, and discover just how strong they really are when they step outside their comfort zone.